quick. We have more readings in Essex, but I had a little bit more time. Hello everyone, I'm Jaynie, and I'm a really grateful recovering addict. Yeah, this is a lot. This is a big meeting. So, I suppose first of all I want to start by I'll start by telling you how my day-to-day started, and then how different that is to just over 5 years ago when I came into CA. So I woke up at 4:45 this morning, and I used to go to bed at that time, and it's quite beautiful to get up at that time. And I try and start my day every morning. I pray regardless of what's going on. If I get time, I'll meditate. But this morning I had a quick pray up, and I'm straight out the door because I had to drive 100 and something miles down here from Essex, and it was quite beautiful. I would never ever have dreamt of coming to do a chair all the way from Essex to, I wouldn't have. Someone said to me the other day at my home group, when I said I'm coming down here to do a chair, they went, "Oh, you'd have gone 20 lengths for drugs?" And I went, "No, I wouldn't have done. I certainly would not have gone 3 hours for drugs. I clearly was a lazy addict." And yeah, anyway, so here I am with all you great people. So I'll tell you a little bit about who I was, how I got here, and who I am today. So I'm the eldest kid of two addict parents. My mum was a really bad drug addict. She's not with us anymore. And my dad, an alcoholic. So it was quite a dysfunctional beginning. Right from the off, but you don't know that, do you? Because everything was normal for me. I thought that's how all parents were, and it was kind of a given, I suppose. Like when I ended up in the rooms, no one was surprised. All my family members, they weren't surprised because of the parentage and stuff. So yeah, from a young age, we all say it, don't we? You hear it such a lot that I felt different, and yeah, I did feel really different. I was really ashamed of my mum. She used to come and pick me up from school with no shoes on, flared jeans. I think she must have thought she was cool or whatever. And out of her nut, my mum has an opioid addiction. She was off the wall. 1 minute she was such a beautiful, kind soul. Next minute she was just like a banshee, freaking out. So I was brought up in that kind of sort of never knowing, what mood she was going to be in. And from quite a young age, she used to dose us up, me and my sister, when we used to cry. I didn't know this, it's transpired. My dad's told me since. When we were little, she'd give us some of her blue pills. They were Valium, diazepam, like a quarter, half, whatever. So from a young age, that was going on. And then I think maybe that created something else in me or whatever. But from a very early age, I was always trying to escape how I was feeling inside. So my first sort of drug, I suppose like a lot of us, it was like solvents. I used to sniff petrol and realised that sort of made me feel nice or whatever. And then it was Tipex spinners and stuff like that, and it sort of just progressed. And just all the time it was something to just change the way I was feeling and how I felt at home and stuff. So I left home really early. I think I was about 15 when I left home. I actually met a guy who was about 3 years older than me. We lived in a tent for a while, then lived in squats. I thought he was the coolest guy in the world, but he was a massive druggie as well. And so the drugs took on a different angle, got into different stuff. And it got quite dark quite quickly with that relationship. But because that's all I'd ever known was that chaos, it was quite normal. So, we ended up getting married and having 3 kids together, and all the things I used to say that I wouldn't do. I used to hate my mum for the way she brought us up, and I was doing the same thing eventually with my kids. And well, I didn't drug them, but, I don't know, I suppose I did. I used to give them an extra spoonful of Calpol or a bit of Ferndown, but you know what I mean. I wasn't, dosing them up on diazepam. But, so I become the same kind of parent. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't present. I would do anything to palm them off on my parents. And my drug taking I didn't drink then either. I was like a dry sniffer. I used to take uppers and downers. I'd take E's, just anything really that I could get my hands on, or what my husband would bring home or whatever. And it was. But I thought, I don't know. I never really thought I was an addict, and I thought I'd be able to stop it whenever I wanted to. I didn't want to, but I thought it would just fizzle out. I'd grow up, it would stop. So this was all in my early 20s when I got married and started having children. And I stayed with this guy till I was in my mid-30s. And I always thought he was the problem. It was always somebody else was the problem, like my mum, then my husband, and then I divorced him. And the drug taking got even worse, and I haven't got anyone to blame. So, I had to sort of look at me maybe for the first time, and think, oh, maybe I'm the problem. And so I stopped taking cocaine 10 years ago. So, so how old was I? 40. About 40, I stopped taking cocaine, and I've become clean for 18 months. And I was having dinner one night with my kids, and I thought I'll have a glass of red wine with I remember what dinner it was. I was having spaghetti bolognese, and I thought I'll have a glass of red wine with me dinner. I haven't done any gear for 18 months. That would be fine. So I had the glass of wine, and that night it was just one glass of wine. But very quickly, that one glass of wine went into full-blown alcoholism so quickly. I don't even know. It might have been 6 months, it might have been a year, but within that short space of time, I was the kind of drunk that would drink to oblivion every single day, lay on the sofa all of the next day. I took the kids to school, picked them up. In between those times, just laid on the sofa. I never washed, I never brushed my hair. I used to piss the bed. I was just vile, just absolutely disgusting. My house wasn't cleaned. It was just horrific, really. I didn't ever think I was an alcoholic because I didn't drink before the drugs. But now I realise now that it's just you change the substance. The problem is, I'm an addict. I now know that. It was quite dark times. It was particularly difficult for my kids. My 2 elder kids moved out, and my little girl Elsie, who's here with me tonight, she went through such a lot, and she parented me. She used to put me to bed and try and drag me up the stairs, and it wasn't nice for her, but she done that, and that's the power of love, isn't it? She done all my addiction with me, and now she does a lot of my recovery with me. She comes to a lot of meetings with me, and she's a real beautiful soul and a credit to she's just from God, and it makes me very emotional when I talk about Elsie. So she's a great kid. She's actually doing a law degree. I can't believe a child of mine. I left school with no GCSEs. I can barely string a sentence together. I'm really trying not to swear here. And and then I have this perfect little angel who was born amidst absolute chaos. And she's like this diamond in this rough world that we live in. So she's a real beautiful soul. I can't make this the Elsie show though, can I? This is what I would. So this went on for a long time. It got particularly dark. I got really ill. I've still got some lasting damage through the alcohol. I've had to have some operations to take bits and bobs away. My liver's not great. I've got some scarring and stuff like that. Anyway, still that didn't stop me, you know, nothing would stop me. There's a reading that we have, and it says someone worked their 12 step on me. I can't remember what reading it is. I think it might be We Can Recover or something like that. But someone did do that, and it was because, sorry, I'm going to skip backwards and forwards. I'm terrible. I'm knee deep in the menopause, by the way, as well. So if I do, but I was going to say, like, all of it, I'm painting quite a bad picture of my using. But at the beginning, I suppose, like a lot of us as well, it wasn't always terrible. And, you know, I had quite a lot of fun right at the beginning. And there was this set of girls that I used to hang around with. And one of those went into recovery about 7 years ago. And I saw her, and she looked amazing, and she was talking different, and she didn't drink or use anymore. And I'm like, wow, she's weird. And like, she was talking some strange nonsense about God. And anyway, that was that. So I met her. And then there was another girl. I met her a couple of years later, and she'd done the same thing. And then my sister went into recovery because she was friends with these girls as well. And my sister was as bad as me, maybe even worse. You know, she was in a terribly bad way. And I remember I bumped into her because we weren't speaking at the time, but I bumped into my sister down my dad's house, and she looked, I've never seen such a transformation between the last time I saw my sister and this time. She was glowing. She just looked so fresh-faced, and she was happy, and she was again talking weird stuff about God and the program and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but that must have sparked something in me. So she was the third one in this line of girls who I was in touch with. And I remember I phoned her up, and I kept phoning her, asking her little questions like, well, where do you go, what do you do, blah, 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 blah. And she told me about CA. And I was really dubious because I'd had like other help. I'd had actually went into hospital, and I was detoxed from alcohol once. That didn't stop me. I'd had loads of therapy. I've had more therapy than you can shake a stick at. That didn't stop me. And so I thought I'll give it a go. And I went to the first meeting I went on was a Zoom meeting, because it was lockdown when I first started going to meetings, May 2020. And I'll never forget, Elsie was with me, and we logged on to Zoom, and I was pissed, and I was still drinking. And the guy there, he come on the Zoom, and I wouldn't turn my camera on, and I told him I was drinking still, and he said, that's okay, just sit and listen, which I did. To be honest, I didn't get anything out of that meeting whatsoever, because I was too drunk really to care or whatever. But I must have heard something, because I kept going on these Zoom meetings. And after about, a couple of days a week, I'd stopped drinking, and I didn't know why. And it was taken away from me, really, like, it was like a miracle. Like, nothing, I hadn't done anything. I'm just going on these meetings, and I'm listening to all these people, and I got a sponsor immediately, and she started going through this book with me, and then I had people phoning me up all the time. There's an old guy in Essex, he'd come round, he was a literature for one of the meetings, he'd come round, brought me all these pamphlets, brought me books, and he become a really good friend, and he still is to this day. And people were doing things for me without wanting anything back, and I couldn't get my head around that. I did think it was weird. I thought there was some strange stuff. I did think that, I thought everyone fancied me, really. That was at the beginning. I was thinking, well, they're coming around my house and dropping nice stuff up, and, there you go, isn't it? Of course he fancied me. And, I stunk of piss and had one dreadlock, I was such a catch. And, but anyway, these people kept coming and kept doing nice things, and slowly, there's a couple of people here that know me. I had trouble letting my guard down. I was very untrusting, I suppose, because all the stuff, from childhood and stuff. And I didn't talk for years, in a couple of years in meetings. And now I know that's all probably ego stuff. I thought I was better than you, and you know, I didn't do that and I didn't do what she done, and there was a lot of that at the beginning because I didn't want to be like you. I didn't want to be here. None of us want, or I didn't want this. I thought I was normal, and turns out I'm really far from that. And but I quite like today. I'm quite okay being who I am, and I'm really waffling, and I sorry, darling. We've only got 4 minutes left. So how I got in here was because of the girls and my sister. I've stayed here because I'm terrified of using again, and I'm terrified of becoming that woman again who doesn't like anyone, certainly doesn't like myself, just spews venom all the time. I was not a very nice human being. I would do anything, I'd fuck any of you over to get what I wanted. Today, that's not me, and I'm really glad of that. Today I live by just a few rules, and it's all God stuff. You know, now I've come to believe that God's either everything or he's nothing, and I try and be the best person I can be. I fall short every single day, like Tony tells me in my inventory. I always go, I could do better, but I've done this today, but you know, I know I can do better every day. But now I want to do good. I don't want to hurt people. I want to help people. And it's just by doing a few simple things every day. And yeah, I don't know how it works. I've sort of given up trying to fathom it out because we're all miracles. Everyone that stays sober for a day is a miracle. And then those days go into months and years, and I can't fathom it. And here I am 5 years and 2 weeks later, and I'm living a life beyond my wildest dreams. And it's true, all them promises, they all come true. And I travel everywhere, I go and do beautiful things, I see things through a child's eyes again, and I'm just excited for life and everything. I went on the beach today and I'm skipping down this beach and I can feel the sand in my toes, and I'm just like a little girl because it's lovely, just a lovely feeling to be living finally and seeing colour and seeing the good in people, not the bad. And yeah, it's a real beautiful thing. I think I'm going to leave it there because I'm probably going to cry. Anyway, thank you. Was it really